Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Girl MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Floyer and Dee Dee Woodson. We will not have Michael Bullock here with us tonight. You guys know the routine. We start out with Smackdown Live, then to be followed by AEW Rampage, and here we go. So we started it off with the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, along with the Bloodline, the Usos, and of course, Paul Heyman. They cut in a promo interrupted by the new WWE Champion Big E, interrupted by Finn Balor, and it was a 2-for-1 because right after the commercial break, it led us into the first match of the night. The Usos going up against Big E and Finn Balor in a non-title match. And Big E and Balor wins the match in 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Great start to SmackDown Live. And I got to say, this was definitely fight of the night. And other than one segment later in the evening, also second best segment of the night in my eyes. First off, Roman trying to get Knoxville, Tennessee to acknowledge him. Then Heyman gets on the mic, talks about why, Finn Balor being scared, Brock Lesnar being scared of Roman Reigns. And it led to a surprise to see Big E, where now you're thinking, wait a minute, Big E, what is Big E doing there? He's technically still SmackDown. Yes, he's the WWE champion. Yes, that's a Monday Night Raw belt. But he's still under contract with SmackDown. So technically, he had every right to show up tonight and be there in Knoxville. And plus, it seems like Big E is now, along with Roman Reigns, the face of WWE. And a lot of people feel like this was his moment. This was a great surprise to see Big E, because you would think now that he's got the WWE title, he's probably not showing up much longer on SmackDown. Oh, contraire. He shows up, place goes nuts. I was excited because, he's my boy, man. That's my guy. Big E showing up, and for the first time since winning the belt, you had two SmackDown champions technically in the same ring at the same time. Universal Champion Roman Reigns, WWE Champion Big E, and that was a great setup to see Balor come out. Obviously, perfect moment for him, because Balor will fight Roman, Universal title, Extreme Rules. So there was a nice tie-in on everything. However, if you also notice something, could they be foreshadowing some kind of event coming up in November called Survivor Series? Did we just plant the seeds of champion versus champion one-on-one tonight? Anthony Floyo, I leave that question to you, my friend, as we toss it over to you. Oh, by the way, match itself, 3 to 3.5 stars, fight of the night honors.
And what was the time of that fall again?
12 minutes and 12:20, I believe it was. Yes, 12:20.
12:20. All right. I'll get into all this in a second. WWE did the right thing here by bringing Big E in for an appearance fresh off his WWE Championship win Monday night. The buzziest star in the company right now earned a huge pop from the fans, and rightly so, as he joined Finn Balor for a mostly fun and energetic tag match. There is certainly an argument to be made that the Usos have achieved a certain level of stardom on Friday nights that should protect them in losses like this, but too many will have them looking more like stooges that genuinely back up to Reigns. The biggest takeaway from this one was the manner in which the babyfaces were presented as equals. Neither got over or won the match at the expense of their partner, and the result was a perfectly executed opener. fine segment here, no doubt about that. I would say the second best segment of the night. This was the fight of the night. 3.25, 3.5 stars for the rating. Hands down the fight of the night. None of the other matches even came close to this. So, Survivor Series, it sounds to me like we're going to be doing the Raw and SmackDown thing once again. So, need I remind you, MF, that they choose this road again? Let's look at through the years. I mean, how many times has Raw won the damn thing? Almost all the time, with the exception of that one bad year we had.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that ever since they've done Raw versus SmackDown, just Raw versus SmackDown alone, Raw has won every single Survivor Series matchup.
Damn right.
Now, I'm not counting the years of the individual matches because SmackDown has won those.
Yes, banners for both, yes.
But when it comes to the Battle of Brand Supremacy, where it's Raw versus SmackDown one-on-one, like I think they've done it, like 3 or 4 times, Raw has won every one of those events, with the exception of NXT being tossed in. And like you said, NXT won tonight, SmackDown came in second, Raw was in dead last on that night. So
the only bad night we've had.
Yeah.
I mean, 16, 17, well, they've done this every year since 2016. And 4 out of those 5 years was NXT. And who knows, if not for COVID, who knows? Could NXT have been a part of it again last year? Who knows? I don't know. Will they be a part of it this year? I don't know. We'll see. But
chances are no. Because of the way that WWE is doing NXT nowadays, I don't think they will be participating in this Survivor Series. I think they're going to want to keep it just Raw versus SmackDown.
Yes, and if that's the case, they like to do those individual matches. They like to do those champion versus champion matches. And as it stands right now, if it holds, it would be Big E versus Roman, should they decide to go that route. And this is a match we've been wanting to see this match, and we all thought Big E was going to be the guy to dethrone Roman, but they made the decision to transfer him over to Raw, have him go after the WWE title, which he did Monday night, and capped off what ended up being a banner night this past Monday night, and in more ways than one. So, but I'd be all for it. I mean, that definitely has be a man potential, no question about that. And this Survivor Series is going to be a special one because, I mean, not only is it going to be in one of the biggest venues in the world, the Barclays in Brooklyn. We know the history of that venue with those 4 years of SummerSlam they did. Their first Survivor Series, and they're also planning on honoring the 25th anniversary of The Rock, because it was that event, 96, The Rock, Rocky Maivia, made his WWE debut, and you'll never forget Jim Ross, what he said on that night. Now that's got to be the man right there, that blue chipper right there. And look what happened. JR was dead on right. So, rest is history. You know that. They're going to honor him for his 25th anniversary, just like they did last year with The Undertaker, even though he really didn't get a proper send-off. I mean, in that dinky Thunderdome. But, it was what it was. But at least he did get a send-off, but he should have gotten a proper one. But this time around, they're planning on building this one around The Rock for 25 years of service. So, oh boy, the roof will come off the Barclays that night. So, my favorite event of the year, looking forward to it. If it's Big E and Roman, that's a be a man potential, no doubt. I could definitely see it happening, but only if both of these men are the champions going in. That's still 2 months away. So easy there, Romeo, as our boy J.A. Adonde would say. Would I like to see it? Abso-freaking-lutely I would. But I don't know. We'll see. But all we have to do is wait and see. So not much here to say. Second best segment of the night. 3.25, 3.5 stars. Fight of the night by a country mile. Edie Whitson, what do you say about all this?
Well, there's one more thing y'all are forgetting also, and that's the fact that we have the draft coming up as well in between these two pay-per-views.
2 weeks.
So
Yes.
we don't even know what's going to happen with that, let alone the championship for either show. So yeah, it's going to be something to keep an eye out on, because there's no telling what's going to happen between now and November when we come time for Survivor Series. But yeah, I can definitely agree with both the rating for this segment and saying that that this is the fight of the night. The rating for the match as well. This was really very well done, and yeah, in a way, it building for not just Extreme Rules, but yeah, for Survivor Series, showing that both of these guys have titles. We don't know who's going to have the title after the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, but we'll see what happens. So I'm not going to add too much more. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. Well, okay. So
Fletch.
yeah,
Sorry,
that's okay.
Fletch.
That's okay. That's okay, Dee. All right, no problem. Next up we had was Rick Boogs versus Robert Roode. Rick Boogs wins the match in 2 minutes. Anthony, you don't have to talk about this. But there was one thing that did happen, and I'll open forum this one. Right after the match was over, Commander Aziz and our good friend Mr. Apollo Crews showed up and jumped Nakamura, and Rick Boogs tossed them all over the place. Poor Pat McAfee had to cover and run because he was jamming out with the boys until the party got crashed. But the one thing is that Apollo Crews was none too happy, saying that he's made a mockery of royalty, made a mockery of the Intercontinental Championship, and demanded a rematch. He's issued his rematch clause. So, Anthony Florio, it could be at Extreme Rules. It could be next week on Smackdown, on the draft night, whatever the case may be. Nakamura versus Crews, the Intercontinental Heavyweight title will be on the line.
And Apollo Crews gets his rematch. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do this right away, but, they obviously wanted to hold off on it, and I certainly can understand that.
And the right move, by the way.
Absolutely the right move. Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz attacking post-match was a nice surprise, considering it has felt for weeks like Crews was on his way back out of relevancy. His return to the Intercontinental title picture by way of his attack on King Nakamura and Rick Boogs at least keeps the talented performer on television, even if there is no intention for him to regain the title. Even with Nakamura holding the title and Crews being a former champion, this all feels very much like a star-making vehicle for Boogs, who has seen his TV and ring time increase tenfold in the last in recent weeks, and especially since he debuted 4 months ago. So, the match was nothing, and it's been confirmed. Next Friday night on SmackDown in the Philadelphia, we all know how much MF loves the Philadelphia. That's when we will see King Nakamura defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against Apollo Crews, which I believe went down a week or two before SummerSlam. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So nothing match, but Didi Woodson, Crews, and Nakamura Intercontinental rematch next week in Philadelphia. I don't know if Apollo's going to get the title back. I mean, it would be something if he did, but I think this is tailor-made for Nakamura to win.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know that Apollo Crews is going to get this, get his title back, but it is interesting that he's coming out and he's actually criticizing Nakamura for calling himself a king and having the crown and stuff that he took from Corbin anyway. But it it is what it is. He's he's the champion. He and Apollo don't like that, so it's going to come down to this match next week. So we'll just have to kind of see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be a good match. And I'm with you guys. I think it was a good idea that they did hold off until now to do this and kind of push some of the other storylines before this. So we'll see what happens next week. So it's yours, Fletch.
It was the right move. It was obviously the right move because of the fact that a lot of the times WWE kind of throws those rematches almost immediately, and it doesn't give us an opportunity for opportunities to breathe and give us. I kind of did not mind that they gave us this match, or they're giving us this match next week. Oh, by the way, just to let you fine folks know, I do believe next week, from what I was told, now I don't know if Anthony, you can clarify, was it night one, or is it 2 weeks from now, the draft? Because I thought I heard next Friday.
No, draft is in 2 weeks.
All right. I kind of thought so. I thought for a moment there that they dipsy do botcheroo, but
Baltimore.
So it's going to be in Baltimore. So yeah, without a doubt, this is going to be an interesting thing. Nothing bad to say. I thought it was solid for what it was worth. And yeah, here we are. Match, title on the line. I'm good with it. So next up we had, well, it was supposed to have been Happy Corbin versus Kevin Owens. The fight never got off the ground. Owens came out, Corbin jumped him, and that's it. Fight is a no fight, no match, no nothing. So we got to leave it at that. Then in the back, Paul Heyman walking backstage, interrupted by Kayla Braxton. She surprises the daylights out of Paul, asks the question. Paul Heyman literally raked the poor baby girl through the coals. Unleashed a vicious rant on her, walked away. Big E shows up, and Heyman showed the love, said congratulations, you did the right decision by cashing it in on Bobby Lashley instead of cashing the opportunity on Roman, because you would have failed. You would have been a footnote in Money in the Bank history. You would have been the fourth man to ever fail to win the championship. You would have joined John Cena. You would have joined Damian Sandow. You would have joined Baron Corbin in being the latest individual to cash in the Money in the Bank and fail to win.
Braun Strowman too.
Strowman. You know what? All right, I'll give you Braun. Because of the fact, even the Cena one, you can't really say it was really Cena's fault. It's that because of the fact that there was interference, the fight got thrown out. Especially for Cena, if you remember, he cashed in, and the Big Show blew the fight up. So technically, it was a failure, but I'll give you that. I didn't want to say Strowman because I didn't believe that Strowman was a fair loss.
Yeah, Lesnar screwed him over like Big Show screwed over Cena.
Yeah. So I mean, how can you call that technically a failure? How? I mean that
didn't win the title.
Yeah, but still, come on. I mean, DQ finish on a Money in the Bank cash in.
Yeah, you're right. You can't consider that being defeated. You're right.
Yeah, you can't. So anyway, but after that, so that's when he planted the seed about possible Survivor Series. Oh yeah, one problem: Bloodline. The Usos jump. Absolutely take out Big E, left them in a heap. Roman just walks by, just telling the boys, good job, and walks away. After that, we had Seth Rollins cutting a promo. Dee Woodson, oh boy, Seth. Boy, did he open the Pandora's box here tonight. No apologies. Basically, classic heel, not taking any responsibility for what he did to Edge at Madison Square Garden about a week ago.
Of course not. I mean, why would we want to take responsibility for something that we did? No, that's not Seth Rollins' style. No, we just go out and we blame the guy that we just got through taking out, and say, okay, we want to take you out again. We want to have another match with you and do it all over again. And this time, his goal is to completely take him out of wrestling. Well, we've had that storyline before. If I remember right, the last one who said they were going to take him completely out was Randy Orton, and we saw what happened with that. That didn't work. So what makes Seth think that it's going to work this time with him? I don't think it's going to work. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens. But this was a very, I thought it was a good promo for what it was worth with Seth. Good heel. But yeah, I mean, come on. You got to think real, though. Seth, yes, he's at the top of his game right now. But, we're talking about Edge. We're talking about a guy who has come back from, neck breaking. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to add. I'm going to toss it.
No problem, Didi. Yeah, this was a fiery promo. This was you got to get into the head of Seth Rollins to see the twisted logic that he was trying to manipulate on this, and he did it in such a way that you want to talk about nuclear heat. He got it and then some. I know Anthony Floyo and our colleague Michael Bullock, when he's here, he talks about how angry Edge is the best Edge. This was, in my opinion, the best we've ever seen from Seth Rollins. I love the promo. I love what he did. I love how he tried to manipulate and try to say that, no, it wasn't my fault that this happened. This was Edge's fault. This was all of your fault. We're talking about the WWE Universe, talking about the people that were watching on Fox, that these was all your fault. You were responsible for what happened to Edge. You're the reason why he was laid in a heap, that he got stretchered out at the world's most famous arena 1 week ago. Because of you people is why I did what I did. All right. He laid it out in a sadistic, vile, and very remorseless way, but it worked. It gives a lot of heat on Seth Rollins, and that's exactly what they were going for here tonight, and they did an amazing job with it. Anthony, definitely not the segment of the night, because I thought there was one that was a little better than this, but I will say, they did an excellent job of setting up what will be a third battle. We just don't another battle between Edge and Rollins. We just don't know when they're gonna do it. I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon. Maybe Saudi Arabia. That's just wishful thinking from me. But think so. I could think that they could hold off much later. They could go Survivor Series. They could maybe wait until day one, the first show on New Year's Day in Atlanta. They could do that. Or do they go all the way and try to do this at the granddaddy of them all and let these two battle out at WrestleMania at Arlington.
WrestleMania 38. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But Seth Rollins may be the most underrated performer in WWE since making the jump to Friday Night SmackDown. From his program with Cesaro to this run with Edge, he has cut extraordinary promos and has delivered in nearly every in-ring outing. He has been superb, but has flown under the radar on a brand championed by his former Shield brethren. The idea of a feud-ending third match between Rollins and Edge is mighty appealing based on their previous encounters and would enhance any card it appears on, especially if Rollins brings the level of performance he has thus far in 2021. I don't think it's going to be Extreme Rules. I think that might be a little too soon. Saudi Arabia, I could see it in Saudi Arabia. I really could. I think that would be enough time for Edge to sell the curb stomp, with the neck and everything else. I think a month and change would be good enough. I mean, I if you want to make they're going to want to pull out all the stops for Saudi Arabia, and they've already done that in a big way. We're going to get Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, Universal Championship or not. Frankly, in my opinion, it doesn't need the title because the two of them alone, based on name value, would sell it alone. But it's very likely going to be for the title because I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And if it is for the title, for the love of God, don't put it on Brock, please. Roman's way too good right now. So, and whoever dethrones him, it should be someone who could easily benefit from the rub and let it be like a Big E, somebody that we didn't expect, and that's it. So let it be an up and comer. Let it be, someone who's right there, and go from there. So, but anyways, second best segment of the night. You could definitely make an argument for segment of the night, but it's definitely between this and the other big segment at the end. So not much more to say. Didi Woodson, what a promo by Seth Rollins tonight.
Didi let it off.
Oh, okay, then move on.
All right. So with that said, we do move on. Next up that we had was all right, so next up we had was Toni Storm and Liv Morgan versus Carmella and Zelina Vega. Now, this got interesting because this was supposed to have been a tag team match 1 week ago at Madison Square Garden in New York, but the fight got canned because where all the makings, where everything that was going on Smackdown, the Edge and Rollins fight took a little longer than it was supposed to, and thus because of that, they ended up getting scrapped. There was a lot of anger from the IWC. There was a lot of anger towards 3 of the 4 actually voiced their displeasure about it. I know Zelina was not happy with it. Carmella was not happy. Liv was upset as well. We didn't hear nothing from Toni Storm, but that's how it happened. So tonight they did the match, and Toni Storm and Liv Morgan wins the match via countout, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. What happened was Liv drop kicked or threw Carmella into the turnbuckle, and she started freaking out. Carmella freaked out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you broke my face, you broke my nose. And she was covering her nose, went all the way to the back. The fight was over. But Liv Morgan did say that she would get even with Carmella, challenged her to a match at Extreme Rules. We now have found out that is indeed official. Carmella versus Liv Morgan one-on-one at Extreme Rules. And possibly next week, Zelina Vega versus Liv, because if you listen to the promo after in the locker room area, Zelina said that she was going to get retribution on her for what happened tonight. So it looks like we got 2 matches in 2 weeks. Fine, whatever. It didn't thread the needle for us at all. Now, maybe they would have given this a little bit of a different thing. Either they were going to do 2 ways. I'm glad they didn't do this in Madison Square Garden, because WWE would have been in big trouble with the New York crowd. That New York crowd would have poo-pooed all over this. So maybe it was good to do it in Knoxville, Tennessee. You're not going to get nuclear heat because of it, because trust me, you pull this in Madison Square Garden, it's going to be like WrestleMania 10 all over again when Lex Luger got screwed out of the WWF title. The New York crowd is lit. They are lively. They would have gone bonkers on WWE. They would have gotten negative press for all the wrong reasons. And that is why I'm glad that they pulled. If they were going to pull a stunt like this, do it tonight. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, no. If you were going to pull a stunt like this and do this in Madison Square Garden, you would have been crucified hardcore. Like there would have been a riot in the garden. That's how bad it would have gotten. So, fair enough. No harm, no foul. You continue the storyline and everything else. And we'll see what happens then. So, we move on along. Next up we had was the main event of the evening. And it was the final match of the evening. Before the final segment we had was Dominic Mysterio versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wins the match in 6 minutes and 5 seconds. It was an okay fight, but one thing me and Didi were also noticing about this was the hint of the cracks are starting to break a little more and more. And that was that, Dominic asked Ray not to come out, not to get involved, please just don't get out there. Ray does come out, but he goes to the commentators table. He joined Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, and Dominic was on his own. He wrestled the match on his own, one-on-one, and Sami beat him. And you could tell during the match that the coaching of Ray, he's like, you gotta be quicker. No. And once, it looked like he had the moment, but again, Dom continues to make rookie mistakes, and it's ending up costing him the matches. And it's getting to a point where it's not Ray's fault. This was not Ray's fault at all. Ray had nothing to do with this loss. This one's squarely on your shoulders, kid. You're gonna have to somehow figure it out on your own. But I understand what Dominic is trying to go, wanting to be on his own. And also one thing that also Didi also noticed and pointed out to us was that Dominic got his own theme music and came out on his own before Ray came out tonight. So you can see, Anthony, there's more possible splintering of the family. But, I mean, Sami and Dominic, not bad. 2 to 2.5 for me as it goes to you.
Second best fight of the night, 2.5 stars. The match itself was perfectly fine. But can we please stop with this pairing? Can we move on to fresh matchups for Dominic? Smackdown pulled a Monday Night Raw here. Repetitiveness. Come on, this is not Raw. This is Smackdown.
Yeah, third time that these two guys have fought. Third time.
I could have sworn it was more than that, but all right.
No, 3. Because
right.
Remember, he was. They were talking about how he was he's 0-3 one-on-one with them.
Yep.
So
right.
That's why. So no,
but it feels like a lot. But I'm just saying it feels like a lot more because of the repetitiveness. But the repetition of WWE programming has led to understandable backlash from fans, mainly myself, tired of watching the same damn thing every week. There are ways of continuing Dominic's feud with Sami Zayn and his increasing frustration with his father without beating the match into the ground the way the creative team has to this point. Give us something different. Let Zayn taunt Dominic during a different match a week from next week or whenever. Otherwise, fans' attention will be lost. So that's just my little mini rant. Fine match, yes, but starting to wear a little thin on me. 2.5 stars for this effort, though. Second best fight of the night. Didi, what's in your thoughts?
Yeah, I can agree with that. 2.5 stars. Yeah, it's repetitive. Yeah, it's getting kind of stale, kind of boring. But yeah, there is a lot of cracks building here, and there's a lot of tension going on between Dominic and his dad. Even though Ray didn't interfere, didn't do anything to cost the son the match, Dominic in the back of his head is still going to find a way of blaming his dad, maybe saying, you were out there when I told you not to be out there, you were yelling at me, you were doing this, you're doing that. He'll find an excuse. Most kids do. But it is what it is. He went out there, he did what he could. But yeah, we need some more people going up against Dom. I mean, here he comes into the business and he's facing Seth Rollins and had a great run with that, but now we're getting into repetitiveness now with Sami Zayn, and it's getting kind of boring and a little lackluster. So yeah, I'm not gonna add too much more. It's yours, Fletch.
Main event segment. It was the homecoming for the hometown girl from Knoxville, Tennessee, Bianca Belair. It was hosted by Kane. Yeah, the mayor of Knox County himself, Kane. Glenn Jacobs was in the building, and he presented a key to the city to Bianca Belair, interrupted by Becky Lynch, the SmackDown Women's Champion. Anthony Florio, I mean, you wanna talk about adding throwing a log into the fire of this rivalry. This was nicely done. Big time nuclear heat for Becky Lynch because of her actions here tonight.
And if you wanted to get her that nuclear heel heat, this was the perfect way to do it. And first off, great to see Mayor Kane, as you know, also inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this past year. But anyways, this was another one of the segments of the night here. Becky Lynch is starting to rival husband Seth Rollins in terms of ridiculous attire, and her obnoxious interruption of Bianca Belair's homecoming was such a great booking decision. What better way to establish a performer, an undisputed villain, than by having her upstage then embarrass the hometown hero in front of friends and family? All her actions here did was intensify a feud and leave fans wanting to see Belair beat her and regain the SmackDown Women's Championship. For a performer who everyone was absolutely sure would be cheered, despite her heel status a la 3 years ago, because of the way things went the last time, 3 years ago, like I said, Becky Lynch has been superb as the self-absorbed villain and will absolutely help establish Belair as the babyface star in the SmackDown Women's division. So great segment here. Another one of the segments of the night here. There were 3 of them. This was one of them. And Didi Woodson, needless to say, the Becky Lynch that everyone knew and loved 2-3 years ago, she's long gone now. She's a full-blown heel now.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that, like I said, this is what we needed. There's not enough of the killer heels out there. You get some of these people that go from babyface to heel, and they're not that great at doing it. But Becky, she went out there, she did it, and she's got that nuclear heat going on her, and she's knows exactly how to do it and do it in a way to where it makes your baby face look that much better. And you know, I like the fact that she's running as a heel right now. You know, you don't want to keep a certain star face for too long or heel for too long, like they did. You know, for the example of John Cena, you know, he's been face for most of his career, and you've got it to a point to where you can't really switch it back, and it's kind of sucks, you know, because you get tired and get bored with it after a while, and so does the crowd. So you know, this was good to see her come out, and you know, even though she did interrupt them for doing the key, as Kane said, to the county. I don't know if it was supposed to be county or city, if that was a typo for him to say or what. I don't know, but yeah, you know, it was interesting. It was good. It was good to see that heat build up with her, and you know, I'm definitely looking forward to the match, because this definitely built that fire up and the hunger to want to watch it. So not much more I'm going to add. Let's move on, Fletch.
Overall review, Dee Dee Woodson, it's all yours.
Yeah, I thought it was a fairly good show. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but it was fairly good. I can probably go about 7.5. You know, they did a pretty good job, storyline wise. Yeah, we had some repetitiveness. Yeah, we had some cutouts, but they were still able to build matches and to still hold interest, and you know, just kind of feed you along with what they were trying to do. And you know, 3 rock solid segments. You know, even some of the backstage stuff was really good. So and then you had, you know, some stuff that wasn't as great, but you know, it is what it is. They're doing a you know, a good job in that 2 hour format compared to what sometimes they do with 3 hour format on Raw, because you know, a lot of times you will lose interest after a while. It's lately, both shows have seemed to be knocking it out of the park. So yeah, I'm not going to add too much more. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, solid show. I mean, this is about a maybe. Well, it could have been a little better, but for what it's worth, because there was quite a few cutouts along the way, I'll give this maybe 6.5 out of 10. But there was a little bit of some good stuff that came out of it, so I really got nothing more to add. So Anthony, it is yours.
Who do I agree with? I'm sorry, Didi. With all due respect, I got to go with MF on this one. 6.5 for me as well. I mean, you only had like 2 good matches, which was that opening tag match with the Usos against Big E and Balor. That was the fight of the night. Zayn and Dominic, second best fight of the night, and the other matches, Boogs and Rude, that was about a one star or so effort, and the women's match was an absolute dud. But the segments, that's been the theme over the last couple of months. Ever since the fans came back, the theme of SmackDown has been storyline progression, you know, in-ring segments. And MF, your in-ring segments once again saved your show. I mean, that opening segment with Roman and all them, that was great. The Rollins promo was great. This homecoming segment was great as well. And yeah, so 6.5, and the only little other minor gripe I have before we get into Rampage is this: the pay-per-view is called Extreme Rules. None of the matches that we have on the card have any extreme stipulation to it. So why call it Extreme Rules if you're not going to give us any extreme bouts? Just saying. So 6.5. Raw was definitely the better show this week, especially with the epicness that ended it. So solid show, MF, but not overly spectacular. To sum it all up, let's get to Rampage.
Yeah. So next up, we had Well, it was. We started off with Rampage and the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line. Penta, El Zero Miedo, and Ray Phoenix versus the Butcher and the Blade. Winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 40 seconds, and still the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Bros. Good match, solid fight, but oh my goodness. All right. There was a lot. The referee literally lost this fight. He lost control of the match. Um, it kind of felt like an oh my goodness, what are you guys doing? Butcher and the Blade had way too much offense in this match more than anything else. The ending was weird. I mean, Penta El Zero Miedo was hooked up, got caught up on the rope or was tied up, was able to get literally got out of his mask to help Ray get the 1-2-3. That was an interesting ending to the match. Easily fight of the night. I'll give this about three and a half stars. And Anthony, it's yours.
I thought you were going to pull a gorilla on me and say, "Oh, referee's lost control of this one," and you're right, he did. But this was a good match with a lot of energy, but something was missing to make it great. It's hard to pinpoint what it was, but it felt like they were stuck in third gear for most of the match. Penta taking off his own mask but covering his face to protect his identity was a fun way to end things. Luchadors value their masks as much as any title. MF knows that better than anybody. So to see one remove it willingly is a rarity. The Butcher looks like he spent his time on the bench getting himself in shape. You could see the big man showing more speed than he did this time last year. 3 to 3.25 stars, I believe, is the correct rating for this. So with that, the Luchas still the World Tag Team Champions. No surprise here. I mean, they just won the titles a couple weeks ago in that insane cage match at All Out. So, Didi Whitson, there was no way they were going to lose the titles, especially this being their first defense.
No, there's no way. They like you said, they just got them. They weren't about to lose them anytime soon. This definitely was a very well done match. I can agree with Floria's rating on that. I mean, it was very well done. They definitely knocked it out of the park to start the show off, and they started at a very high note. So yeah, I'm not going to add too much more. It's yours, Fletch.
Meth, are you there?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute my mic. So let me redo this all over again. Next up we had was Anna Jay versus the Bunny. Anna Jay wins the match 6 minutes and 59 seconds. And what I was about to say was that after the match was over, Penelope Ford and the Bunny, boy, did they get revenge on the two women of the Dark Order as they laid out both Ty Conte and Anna Jay with brass knucks. Oof. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
What was that time again?
6:59.
6:59. All right. This was a decent match that had a couple of sloppy moments, but still managed to be entertaining from start to finish. Anna Jay has a lot of potential for someone so young. If she can master giving promos, she will be set for life in this business. As expected, the Bunny did a great job looking irate after the loss. She has perfect facial expressions for her character, and people don't talk about that enough. So I'll give this about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. And next week, I believe it's going to be on the Rampage portion of the big Grand Slam week. Anna Jay will be going one-on-one with Penelope Ford. So, and that's going to be a fun match. So not much more to say on this. 2.5, 2 3/4. Didi Whitson, women's wrestling expert. How did you feel about this?
Yeah, I could agree with the rating. It was a fairly good match, but yeah, that the after definitely was building the storyline. I mean, you had 2 matches that the Hardy family business just they blew it. They lost it, and of course, that's going to lead to the little segment that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes afterwards. But yeah, I mean, they definitely took out their frustrations of losing the match, and I thought it was fairly good. You know, for what it was worth, these ladies seem to have gotten a little bit better than what they used to be when they first started AEW. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no, so like we guys said, it was solid. So this was about 2.25 stars, and we're just gonna move right on along. I know, Didi, what you're alluding to. That was the Matt Hardy thing. Talking about going off about how his team was not having a good night, then try to blame it on this on a fan of a plant, as we would say, of Orange Cassidy. He ripped him over him and Jack Evans. Basically embarrasses this dude, cuts his hair off, and starts shaving him. That led to Orange Cassidy coming out. It looks like we're getting a hair versus hair. Do we want a hair versus hair? No. Did anybody ask for it? No. But I mean, fine, whatever. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that. Next up, we had was Dr. Britt Baker and Ruby Soho. They went face to face in a promo. Oh my goodness, Dee Woodson, you are the voice of the women's division. My goodness, these two ladies went absolutely wow. Is all I could say.
Yeah, this was definitely very awesome promo. I mean, these two, they hit each other hard. Brett definitely, threw in the face of Ruby, a lot of the stuff that went in on WWE, how she was fired and all that kind of stuff, and that she wasn't a runaway and all this stuff. But Brett had a lot of good points too, and most everybody knows Britt Baker is Adam Cole's girlfriend, and I don't know if her little comments were about her sleeping with him, or if she was trying to say, well, she's.
Oh no, she took a shot at Tony Khan. No,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking. Directly to Tony Khan.
That's what I was thinking. Is she was actually going after Tony on that? But most people know, she's dating Adam Cole, because he's already raked Tony Schiavone over the coals for even interviewing her. So I was kind of surprised he's still interviewing her with Adam Cole hot on his heels about that. But yeah, this was a very good segment. They did a great job. You definitely have the heat there. The match is going to be awesome with these ladies, because both of them, they know what to do. They know how to do a promo, and they did the promos excellent. And Brett is definitely getting some heat, but at the same time, she's still the fan favorite. So, but Ruby is definitely the fan favorite just because of everything that happened with her over on WWE, and it's going to be a storyline that's going to I think going to go longer than just one match. So, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
This was awesome. This was the segment of the night. This stole everything over the show. I mean, other than maybe the tag team title match, this was the reason why you wanted to be on the show tonight. This was money. The heat that they talked about, it was unbelievable how that played out. I loved the segment. I loved everything that was going on that. That looked absolutely awesome. I will say this, though. I want to see if Adam Cole does go after Tony Schiavone for that hug at the beginning of before the promo. But the thing is, Adam, you got nothing to worry about. Tony Schiavone is linked to Rebel, not Reba. There's something going on between them two behind the scenes. And now this is where you might want Conrad. He knows the story. And there's a few guys in AEW that knows the story that Rebel and Tony Schiavone are an item right now. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how I know. Derek Ferreira knows about this story as well. This is kind of a hush-hush behind common knowledge, but yeah, it's out there. It's making the circles around the internet. Tony Schiavone and Rebel are an item. They're together. So, Cole, don't worry about Dr. Britt Baker or DMD. There's nothing going on there. But obviously, he wants to make Tony's life a living hell. For what? I don't know. Tony Schiavone is one of the best announcers, at least of our generation. Floria will agree. Sometimes I some of the stuff I've done, some of the excitement, the exuberance comes from Tony Schiavone too. But anyway, Ruby, I love the fact how Dr. Britt Baker threw the fact that Ruby got fired, but Ruby turned around and said, yeah, but it wasn't a firing. It was freedom. I finally got away and finally got to do what I need to do. People may not know me because of the fact I never got the time to do it in WWE. So it wasn't really a direct shot at him at WWE, but there was a subtlety there. But it was truth. Ruby Soho, or Ruby Riott, for all you WWE fans, she never really got a shot at anything in the company. She had the Riott Squad. All right, fine, cool. But it never transpired, or it never went beyond just that. And it was a darn shame. It was a major letdown. It was heartbreaking, to say the very least. Did we think it could have been a lot more better? Yes, but it is what it is. Now, what she did, Ruby, to Dr. Britt, was that, oh yeah, we know about your exploits and the whole 9 yards. She did take a shot about Adam Cole, saying, well, what you are kind of sleeping with one of the guys in the back right there. And that was a direct shot at Adam Cole. But then she's like, why don't you get your head out of Tony Khan's ass? Whoa! What? Hold! First off, Tony does not want to get thrown in here. So I know you probably gave her a little bit of a, even though they open it up, they say you can say whatever you want, you promo-wise, you're not scripted. I'll bet you they're going to probably reel her in for that, because Tony Khan doesn't want to be involved in any of the stuff. Yes, he likes to be involved behind the scenes, and there's been the moments where we've seen Tony come out from the producer, come out to the arena, and there's been moments where he's lost it, where he's blown a gasket. Most notably, if you remember the night that when the Elite got ahead of the good guys, Tony Khan came out and he was boiling pissed at the Elite that night. I think it was in Milwaukee, was when he was boiling mad at the Elite for getting over. So that was interesting. That was awesome. I got nothing bad to say. Anthony Florio, man, this segment had everything, and woo-wee!
They went there. Very solid and effective segment. The crowd seemed into both women, especially popping big for Ruby's multiple takedown comments about Dr. Britt. I am very much looking forward to this one this Wednesday night on Dynamite from Arthur Ashe Stadium for the Women's Championship. Now, I got this feeling that Britt's going to go over, especially after how it ended. Me personally, I would love to see Ruby get the title, especially after all that BS that she had to go through in the WWE, being underutilized and, being kept off to the side almost every week. for the longest time, and I'm really pulling for her to win it. But at the same time, I really think that that Britt's going to go over and successfully defend the AEW Women's World Championships. So should be a great match. I mean, if this promo was anything, I think it's definitely going to lead to a great match come Wednesday night. So segment of the night, no doubt about it, by default, because it was really the only segment. So, but it was damn good. So maybe the highlight of the show tonight. So with that being said, MF, let's get to the main event.
Main event was it was a one-on-one match, as it was Miro putting the TNT title on the line against Fuego del Sol, where Fuego had to put his new semi-used car, that's right, his semi-used car, basically because he bought a semi-used car after he got the contract with AEW. And Miro wins the match in 8 minutes and 52 seconds to not only get the car, but also successfully defend the title. So, Anthony, it is yours.
All right, let me pull up my notes on this. The Redeemer was on defense a lot more than expected, but it helped the bout last longer and gave Fuego some momentum even with a loss. It looks like we're going to get Sammy Guevara versus Miro for the TNT title at some point. This is a very good way to go because it is a fresh feud between two guys who are very different wrestlers. The only thing missing from this was seeing Miro beat up that car like a character in Street Fighter with that little breaking car exercise. So mainly for all of you Street Fighter nerds out there, fans, Super Nintendo, whatever, Sega, that little warm up there with the card thing. I would have loved to have seen Miro done that. So, but other than that, I could probably give this about another 2.5 or so star match. It was a little more competitive than the first one, but I had a feeling Miro was not going to lose this. I mean, I had a feeling Miro was going to go over here, but I think we might have finally found the guy who could dethrone him. I think Sammy would be the perfect guy to dethrone him. And I've been saying he is one of the fast rising stars of AEW, and I think he would be more than capable of running with the TNT Championship. So just some food for thought. 2.5, teetering on 2 3/4 for this. So Didi Woodson, Miro, and Sammy Guevara on a collision course for the TNT title. And if so, I think we might have found the guy who could dethrone him.
Yeah. Okay, what's going on? Hello.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. My headset cut out again, so I don't know. Cheap headset thing, I guess. Anyway, yeah, definitely going to have a pretty good match when Miro and Sammy meet up. Cause I do agree. I think it's going to head that way. I also agree with the rating for the match. But you also got to think, who's Sammy been hanging out with lately? He's been hanging out with Jericho, so he's had that mentoring going on the whole time he's been in the inner circle, and he still has it. So yeah, I think we're gonna start seeing some really great stuff coming from this young man, and I think he might actually be the one that will dethrone Miro in the long run. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
Didi, why don't you come on one more time? Give me your overall review on AEW Rampage. Oh, she must have hit the wrong button. Oh, man. Yeah, she must have hit the wrong button. All right. 7.5 out of 10 for me. I thought it was a solid show. Anthony?
Yeah, 7.5 out of 10 from me. The women's segment was definitely the highlight. The matches were solid, but not overly spectacular. So I could probably give this about a 7.5 or so. So there isn't much more to say. So let's move on. Let's put a bow on it.
NFL Saturday starts tomorrow, guys. It'll be myself, Anthony Folio, hopefully Michael Bullock, 10:30 Eastern, as we go through week 2 of the National Football League. We do this all over again next week, starting on Monday for Ridiculously Raw. Until then, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Goodbye.